Hello everyone, I'm very glad that you listened to my story. Please give me a follow and like the video if you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment and provide feedback so I can improve the sound quality. Yes, I will now continue the unfinished story. Chapter 21, Sold. Time 12:30. The auction hall was in a complete mess with all the babble, chatter and murmur. It was very difficult for one to hear amid the babble of conversations in the hall. The crowd was getting impatient as it was about time for the auction to start, yet still no one was to be seen on the stage. But then, roar! RR! A thunderous roar sounded throughout the auction hall. The startled crowd went quiet with a scare while the deafening echoes of the roar still reverberated in the hall. The lingering roar left in the hall soon died with the sound of the footsteps, as an intimidating aura filled the auction hall. Clomp! Clomp! Attracted by the sound of the footsteps, the crowd searched for the source, only to find a mystical figure covered in smoke, slowly ascend the auction stage. But before they could make out the figure, the smoke covering the alluring figure burst into a blinding flash. Before they knew, the alluring figure was in the center of the stage wearing the latest trending armor, daughter of wilderness, Artemis. The figure looked majestic and heroic in the armor as she twirled like a ballerina with elegance. With every twirl, the color of the armor changed, a total of 4 twirls amounting to 4 different colors. The whole scene was so magical that the crowd almost forgot to breathe, mesmerized by the sight in front of them. The woman wearing the armor looked just like the virgin daughter of the wilderness, nothing could compare to her majesty. Every time her cold eyes gazed over the crowd, they felt a chill within them as if they were in presence of a heroic being. Some even bowed to the figure, wanting to worship her. Soon the smoke once again covered the alluring figure as the jumbotron in the auction hall displayed 4 daughter of wilderness, Artemis armor cards in different colors with all their status displayed, awakening the mesmerized crowd. The crowd once again babbled, seeing the perfect star and durability ratings of the cards. But the chatter died as an authoritarian voice sounded in the auction hall. Daughter of wilderness, Artemis armor, base price $192,000 per card. Please start the bid. With the cold and authoritative voice, the auction final started. $400,000 by VIP number 4, going once. This princess bids $2 million for all 4 armors. $2,000,000, going once. $2,000,000, going twice. $2,000,000, going thrice. Sold. The jumbotron turned off as a blinding flash caught the attention of the crowd, with the figure had changed into the second armor wood nymph, Urania, another one of the top trending F-rank armors, and also the figure's hairstyle changed to suit the armor. Similar to last time, the figure once again twirled 4 times, amounting to 4 different colors. Wood nymph, Urania armor card, base price $177,000 per card, open for bid. Soon the 40 F-rank armors cards were auctioned, yet the crowd did not disperse as they were still immersed in the elegant and heroic figure on the stage. The figure walked out of the smoke around her as she said, "Thank you for making this auction a great success. Please collect your cards backstage from me, and since you all have been so well behaved, let me share some info on my auction next week. My next auction will contain 10 E-rank trending female armor cards in 4 different colors. For further info, check the catalog yet to be released. See you later." We were short on staff and Susan's authority was very low as the newbie, making it hard to control the crowd using the name of the Guild Association auction house. Since gaining the attention of the crowd by crude means was out of option, I decided to try a creative way to catch the attention of the audience in the auction house. Therefore, I lent my Abyssal Giant Bear Spirit Guard card to Susan. Even though Susan had just been promoted to card apprentice, her active soul control was 14% thanks to the perfect origin card I helped her create. She got a huge boost in her active soul control, making a considerable breakthrough in her active soul control and gaining 28 star power. Equipping 1E rank Abyssal Giant Bear Spirit Guard card and 2G rank Mortal cards Voice Control and Hair Stylist. As the Abyssal Roar only affects enemies, we decided to simmer down the crowd by using the Abyssal Roar and maintain peace with the intimidating aura of the Abyssal Giant Bear. For this to work, Susan had to act like an ice idol and anchor to match the intimidating aura of the Abyssal Bear and not seem out of place, which she performed perfectly, mesmerizing the crowd and leading them with her authoritarian voice. Most shocking was the part where Susan's armor changed colors with every twirl. Thanks to the origin card being sentient and its ability memory, Susan was able to teach the armor to change the colors of the armors even though the armors it fed on were not of that color. As for her declaring a part of the catalog was the stunt used in another world to keep the audience engaged as a good host, I asked her to reveal a part of the catalog. Walking backstage, Susan excitedly came to me and handed me the Abyssal Giant Bear Spirit Guard card. "You were awesome out there. I would not be surprised to see 1 or 2 fan groups forming in your name." "Thank you, but stop it. You were that good out there, no need to be humble in front of me." "I know, right, and I could get used to it. It was so exciting, feeling all their admiring gaze. It felt different. It was as if they would believe me if I told them the earth was flat and the sun was blue. It felt great." Leaving aside Susan, who was still immersed in aftertaste while smiling like a fool, I was rubbing my hands to count my profits. Led by the bouncer, a group of about 14 people came to pay and collect their cards. Many people had directly bought the complete 4-colored set of armors, so 40 cards were sold to 14 people only. Seeing them, I nudged the grinning Susan to snap out of it. Snapping out of the aftertaste, Susan once again returned to her professional self and walked to greet the group. The group was excited to meet Susan, some even asked for selfies. Seeing no harm in few simple selfies, she agreed. The 40 perfect F-rank cards sold for $20,330,000, but considering the 10% auction fee and 34% government tax, I would only get near 55% of the total. And after paying the $4 million debt of copyright and ingredients, I had barely $6 million left for myself. So, my excitement died by half. As the crowd left, Susan was in trance, counting the amount of money she had made in just one auction. Her 5% amounted to $1,016,500, not including the taxes. Even after paying the taxes, she would be able to clear her parents' debts and buy back the family house or a new one. She did get a big bargain out of this auction, 10 F-rank armors that were fed to her origin card and nearly $1 million in commission. But she deserved all of it. If it were me alone, I could not get a $4 million loan on spot to buy the copyright and ingredients. Especially, I would not have been able to possibly rank the auction catalog in the top 10 trending list and attract so many deep pockets. While I and Susan were busy counting money, a voice called to us timidly. "Excuse me." "Yes." "Who are you? How did you get in?" asked Susan. It seems she did not like being disturbed while counting money. "Well, I am also the Guild Association staff." "Oh. What is it?" "I am here to apologize to you." "I am sorry, please forgive me." Chapter 22, Relive. Date March 14, 2321. Time 10:37. Location Sky Blossom City, Bright Manor, Card Lab. Corey had never felt more repulsed than today. The thought of an old man pouring his mental strength in her grimoire made her almost vomit in disgust. How could she let a dirty old man soil her grimoire with his filthy mental strength? Who cares if he has a golden grade grimoire? And what if he is here to help create her origin card? Her grandpa and grandma both have golden grade grimoires. And she has a silver grade grimoire and is the most talented card apprentice in her high school. She can create her card. Old man, don't act high and noble in front of me as if you are doing me a favor. No matter how great the peasants out there think you are, it still doesn't change the fact that you are doing this only to curry favors from my grandpa. So, you better listen to me. Now tell me how and I will create my origin card myself. I don't want your old ass mental strength entering and dirtying my grimoire." Sitting on the couch, A sharp-eyed dourly handsome old man never felt more insulted in his 67 years of life than today, being pointed and scolded by a teenager barely reaching 18 years of age. If not for her being the princess of the Bright family, he would not tolerate her. Looking at this pampered shallow girl in front of him, the old man never felt more proud to have chosen to live a single life over starting a family. It's better to not have children and grandchildren than having this little monster in front of him. Thinking that he had dodged a bullet there, the old man sighed in relief. Who is he? Sky Blossom City's #1 and only golden grade card creator. People wait in lines just to have a chance to meet him, and yet here he is being looked down on by a teenage girl. If not for his contract with Sky Blossom City Guild Association and the fated ingredient for his first origin card being in the hands of Oldman Bright, he would not be so miserable today. Swallowing his pride, he said, "Corey, even though all these ingredients are E-rank at best, the process of creating the origin card is more difficult than you think. If not, your grandpa would not have cared to call me. Instead, he would have helped you create the origin card." Enough. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Oldman, either tell me how to create the card, or get out of here. I will not sully my precious grimoire with your dirty old man mental strength. Why you? Dirty old man mental strength, what does it even mean? No, how dare she call me dirty old man? I am handsome and thousands of young ladies still throw themselves at me. The more he thought, the more exasperated and angry he felt. People wait months just to have him help them in card creation, and this little shit here is treating him like roadside trash. Finally giving into rage and forgetting common reasoning, he said, "Fine, listen carefully. First, cautiously refine your fated ingredient, transfer the soul pathway, take the origin core, morph the core into a card. This process is very tedious and your little mental strength is not enough to complete the card creation process. Don't blame me if you fail. There is no way I will fail. If I do fail, then there is something wrong with your card recipe, period. And now, get out. This princess has to create her first origin card." As the old man stomped out of the card lab, making sure that the card lab was locked, Corey placed all the ingredients on the card creation page and began the card creation process following the old man's instructions. The process was taxing and nearly exhausted all her mental strength, but she still stubbornly held on and finally was successful in creating the card. Card creation complete. Card name, Relive. Card effect, host gains the memories of past lives if any. Seeing the description of her origin card, Corey vomited blood and cursed the dirty old man furiously. The shock from her card had completely washed away the dizziness and exhaustion in her. In a way, her card was very powerful yet useless. To be able to get memories of past life is very powerful, but what's the use of it in this life? Corey was clueless, so she decided to activate the card. Activating the card, many memories poured into Corey's mind as she fell unconscious in the card lab. "Mom, you're so unladylike and look so old and tired all the time. No wonder Dad left you." "I don't blame him. Mom, why should I study hard? Studying is for ugly people. Not me." "Mom, don't worry, I got it all figured out. Annie has 100,000 followers in Insta and is making so much money. I am beautiful than her, so I should be able to make more than her. Mom, this is called TikTok. It is currently trending. Don't worry, I will soon gain 100,000 followers in Insta soon and move out. Mom, I just need one break, one good story, and my followers will reach 100,000 in no time. You will see." "Mom, I am sorry. I am sorry, Mom, please forgive me. I didn't mean to reveal the info, please forgive me. I just wanted to get some followers." "Mom. Wake up. You can't leave me alone. I am sorry, I am sorry. Mom. Wake up, please. Mom." Sob sob. "Mom, don't worry, I will accompany you soon." After a while Corey gained consciousness. Her face was drowned in tears. Tears didn't stop flowing from her eyes, they just kept coming as if a dam broke inside her. Holding her knees, anguished Corey curled up on the couch while weeping desperately. Turns out past life Corey was as bitchy as she is now. Past life Corey's father had run away from his family and her mother raised her alone. Being shallow and vain, Corey always tried to take the shortcuts. If she didn't find any shortcuts, then she would just give up, and the words hard work never crossed her head. For someone like Corey, being an influencer on Instagram seemed like a dream job and most suitable career. But she never put the effort into it except for some questionable selfies, which did not bring her enough followers. Lately, this serial killer's trial was gaining huge public attention. Any exclusive on this would be a game changer for someone like Corey. Corey's mother worked as a clerk in the DA's office. Misusing her mother's ID card, Corey stole the important info relating to the case, which unfortunately turned to help the opposition prosecutor claim mistrial and leading to a serial killer walk free. After the incident, Corey's mother was fired, and mother and daughter were constantly shown in all media and social media outlets as culprits for letting a serial killer walk free. This led to a huge backlash from the netizens. Being constantly harassed on social media and media, Corey's mother couldn't take it anymore and committed suicide. Being hit hard by her mother's suicide months later, Corey also committed suicide. Chapter 23, Misunderstanding. Time 1351. Location: Sky Blossom City, Guild Association Mall, Auction House. Actually, I am here to apologize to YU. I am sorry, please forgive me. It's all my fault. I should have been clearer about my intentions in front of my uncle. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this mess. It's my fault. Please forgive me. I will ask my uncle not to trouble you anymore. Oh, okay. Who are you again? Asked clueless Susan. A timid girl suddenly comes up to her and starts apologizing. Susan didn't understand a thing she said. What's her fault? Who is this uncle she speaks of? Susan had no idea what this girl was speaking about. I am Corey, the person who stole your permanent staff spot. I didn't mean to. I just wanted to stand on my own 2 feet instead of relying on my family. But my overprotective uncle misunderstood when I said I wanted to start from the bottom. I am sorry. My selfishness caused you all this trouble. Please forgive me. Hearing Corey, Susan finally knew what was going on. But she did not know what to say. She never been in or heard of or seen this kind of circumstances. What would you say? If you almost lost the job that you built using your blood and sweat for 7 years to a misunderstanding. Speechless, right? Even though I can't just overlook what happened, but in some way, I am a little thankful for this misunderstanding, as this was the best thing that happened to me in a while now, said Susan, looking towards me. This almost made me blush. Really? I know no words of mine can make up for what you have been through, but all I can do now is to own it and apologize to you. Please forgive me. I can't forgive you, but I do respect you for being upfront and not avoiding the responsibility. Don't worry about this anymore. In the end, everything worked out. This auction's success is the best proof. Thank you. Yes, the auction was a great success because you were awesome. I know this may sound like I am flattering you, but you were great out there. It's not me but the cards, they were that good, no one could resist their charm. No, I have seen many auctions sell the same cards, but they have never gained this much enthusiasm from the audience. I think your magical show was the thing that induced enthusiasm in the audience. Hearing Corey, Susan's face was apple red and was left without words once again. I know this is a long shot, but if you are recruiting staff, I would like to recommend myself. This. I am indeed recruiting staff, but why me? With your family connections, they should have things planned for you. Those are my family's plan, not mine, and I plan to have something of my own, and I would love to work under you, as I think I can learn a lot from you. Please consider it. I will not slack off and work harder than any other staff out there. Corey pleaded. With frowned brows and serious eyes, Susan said, okay, I will give you a chance, but you will have to clear the interview like everyone else. I will notify you date and time later. Thank you. Thank you. Corey thanked Susan excitedly. Time 14:13. Location Sky Blossom City, Guild Association Mall, barbecue. What a weird girl. You sure you want her as your staff? After all, her elders won't be happy when they hear this. Considering all that shit they did, it wouldn't be wrong if you want to have some fun. Weird? I thought she was sincere and brave for coming all this way to apologize to me and do the right thing. I did not intend to accept her as my staff for revenge or something, but because she reminded me of the time I started here as a sales representative. Everyone wanted to take me under their wing back then, but all of that was fake. Fake friends, conniving colleagues, office politics, betrayal, stealing clients, etc. Every day at work was like being on the battlefield. I was constantly being taken advantage of or was betrayed, but I never stopped believing in people because of that. I had been taken advantage of many times, more than I can count. I wasn't afraid of the betrayal but forgetting why I chose this path. And afraid of not being able to meet people like me, people who understood me, I mean people who I call friends, true friends. I see that in Corey, but her reasons are different from mine. I don't know what they are, but I just want to be a part of it. Hearing Susan says all this cringe stuff, I was once again reminded of why I chose to be her friend. Our way, not to change the world, but in order not to let the world change us. Something I read somewhere. People worry and are afraid for wrong reasons and end up doing things or choosing something they didn't mean to. But then there are people like Susan who remember who they are. What do they want? What do they care about? What their priorities are? And what are the things they should be worried or afraid about? No matter how much hardship they are put under by the world. It's not about choosing the right choices, it's all about knowing who you are and what your priorities are. Some would argue that different people have different circumstances and don't have room for choice. To those people I would like to say that they are right, but it's all about where their limit lies. Some cave easily and some break but never cave. How long they are willing to not stray from their path in search of shortcuts. This limit represents a person's willpower. Chapter 24, Moving Out. Time 2:05. Location Sky Blossom City, Adventure Guild Association, Administrator's Office. Opening his silver grimoire, Oliver Bright made a call. John. You are slipping, it's been 35 minutes since the auction ended. Where's the update? How's the situation? What about my niece? Sir, I was just about to call you. The situation is nothing like I guessed. That girl came up with those cards and the auction was a huge success. It appears we played a huge role in that and helped her gain huge popularity along with a large number of clientele. As for the young miss, she just wanted to apologize to the girl and nothing else. It seems she resigned from the permanent guild staff and applied to work under the girl. These actions are unlike young miss, but I guess young miss has changed. Sir, should we continue as planned? There is no need to continue with the plan since the girl has proved her prowess as associate auction manager, then let her fill in the shoes. All this for nothing. It's better to be prepared than be sitting ducks. I had a scare there. Even though the thing with Susan wasn't a big deal for a prominent family like the Brights, but things related to Corey Bright are always complicated, as she is the heart of the Bright family, patriarch and matriarch. For some reason when it comes to Corey Bright they seem to lose all reason and common sense. Therefore Oliver chose to be prepared than sit cluelessly by for this matter. Thankfully it was nothing but a scare. His niece and things related to her can be hard to deal with. For 13 years all she wanted to be was an idol, but all of a sudden she asked to work at the association mall, so he chose an associate auction manager post for her, but then she says she wants to start from the bottom. So, he offered her a permanent staff post and yet she resigned and went to work under an aunt. The Bright family princess working under someone else. The old people were going to flip. Beep. Beep. Bright family meeting. Who sent it? Corey. What is it about this time? Is it about me? XX, Niece, do you want to murder your uncle? Calling a family meeting is a privilege that only the elder generation of the family may use without consequences. Others can also use it, only if it is the matter of life and death for the bride family. But Corey is different, she can call a family meeting without consequences too, as the elder generation consider her as the life of the family. The last time an elder called for a family meeting was when his elder brother was going to upgrade his grimoire to gold grade. As for the last bride family meeting, it was called by Corey because she wasn't able to find any good heels to wear. Time 2:01. Location: Sky Blossom City, Adventure Guild Association, Auction House. Leaving the auction hall, Corey headed home and called for a family meeting. She did not want to use it, but, seeing how her decisions can affect others, she decided to. This time it all worked out in the end, but she will not be so lucky next time. Corey had not just received the memories of her past life but also the emotions, feelings, and thoughts of the past life through her origin card, which made her almost forget herself and drown in the agony faced by the past life Corey. It took Corey almost a day to separate herself from all those emotions, feelings, and thoughts that came with the memories. Thankfully it was a card ability but not actual relief. She lived the past life memories as a third person. It was just like watching a very realistic movie, otherwise, she would face a serious identity crisis right now. Corey noticed that her past self and current self personality is almost a Xerox copy, but their social status and economical state were different. Her past self was a single-parent poor aunt and her current self is the swan of the prominent bright family. Her past self was a loser with no talent, but the current self is a genius who directly contracted a silver grimoire. This experience was not something Corey could just shake off and continue with her life. She was shaken to the core. She had nightmares and sometimes unknowingly tears would flow from her eyes. Over time her whole perspective over life changed drastically. Her beauty that she was proud of and admired for hours standing in front of the mirror suddenly doesn't seem to matter anymore. All her expensive private collections of fancy dresses, shoes, and jewelry appeared worthless in her eyes. Her school and social media life felt superfluous to her. All the likes and comments to her posts didn't seem to matter anymore and all her friends seemed fake to her. It seems these days she had nothing to be happy about, everything seemed colorless, the wind she breathed wasn't fresh enough, the food she ate was bland. One by one everything she valued started to seem redundant to her, then she started to question herself. What is she living for? What is life? She searched for the meaning of her life in the expensive clothing, shoes, jewelry, and accessories or the likes and comments she got for her posts like she always did, but it was to no end. There was this empty hole in her heart that didn't seem to be filled with any amount of lavish articles of clothing or the likes and comments. She couldn't sleep anymore. Even if she slept she would wake in an hour. Unable to sleep one night she walked around the manor. Walking around the manor she reached the servant quarters, where a bunch of young maids were happily having their dinner and enjoying themselves. Looking at them, she asked herself, what are they happy about? All they do is labor and slave around the whole day. What are they happy about? Is it the food? The food they eat is not nearly as good as hers, yet they seem to be enjoying it. Seeing Corey, the young maid stopped eating and greeted her. Corey walked to them and reached for the bread on the dinner table, but a maid hastily said, Miss, if you are hungry I can ask the chef to prepare something you want. I want this, said Corey, holding the brown bread. Breaking a small piece of bread she ate it, even though it didn't taste that bad, but it was nothing compared to the bread she had every day, and yet somehow these maids seemed to enjoy the meal. Seeing the actions of young Miss, the maids panicked, but they couldn't do a thing but watch silently. Returning the bread, Corey looked at the young maids and asked, how does the bread taste? Don't you dare lie to me. Miss, it tastes better than the ones we get on the streets and we enjoy eating it, said the head maid, and the rest nodded in unison. You mean that the taste of the bread can be worse than this? Asked Corey with a surprised expression. The young maids were dumbfounded hearing the question of the young miss. Then the head maid said, Miss, the bread in the manor is made by the card apprentice cook, so it is way better than what we get on streets. Oh. I see, said Corey and asked again, do you guys enjoy the food in the manor? Seeing the young miss show interest in their well-being, the maids were touched, and before the head maid could answer, Corey, an eager maid, said, Manor's food is the best food I have ever tasted, young miss. I am really happy to work here. Hearing the enthusiasm in the young maid's voice while speaking about the food provided in the manor, Corey felt a yearning in her heart. She yearned for what the young maid had, the enthusiasm and pure enjoyment when she spoke about the food. She yearned for it and wanted to feel like that about something in her life. The maid was so full of enthusiasm even after toiling around for the whole day. Why is it so? That maid reminded her of someone, yes, her previous life mother. She seemed to have the same enthusiasm towards life even after being through so much hardship. When the past Corey asked her mother, why so? She said, life is not about luxurious cars, fancy houses, expensive clothes, etc. You young people have been misled by today's media. It's about living it. Life is to live, nothing more, nothing less. Live it to your fullest. The hardship and pain that comes along is part of it. Without it, you can't appreciate your life. Take you, for example. I have never let you near any hardship or pain, therefore you don't know how to appreciate your life and always keep complaining about my cooking. Let me tell you a secret, hard-earned food is always tastier than any food out there. When the past Corey realized the truth behind these words, it was already too late. Remembering all these memories, tears started to flow from Corey's eyes. Suddenly she realized that no matter how much she denied it, she and her past life counterpart are the same. There is no denying it. Fully giving into the memories, Corey thought. Mom helps me with the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. With this, Corey finally decided to live the life her mom wanted for her to live, an independent and self-made life of her own based on honesty and hard work. Seeing Corey cry, the young maids were flustered and did not know what to do. They thought for sure they would have to find new jobs soon. But to their astonishment, Corey wiped her tears and said, thank you for all your hard work. Please enjoy your supper. I will take my leave now. Time 2:30. Location: Sky Blossom City, Bright Manor, Main Hall. The main hall was filled with nearly 20 to 30 people. They were all the members of the main family that happened to be present in Sky Blossom City. Where is Corey? Why isn't she here? What is it about this time? Asked an alluring middle-aged woman. You can wait, she will be here when she can, said the patriarch William Bright. But father-in-law, don't you think this has gone too far? Before the middle-aged woman could finish, Oliver intervened and said, wife, niece will be here soon. While narrowing his eyes, signaling her not to continuing further. The middle-aged woman snorted and didn't speak anymore. Corey entered the main hall and greeted everyone. Hello grandpa, second grandpa, uncles, aunts, and cousins. Sorry for troubling you at such short notice. I have decided to live an honest life based on my ability and skills. So, I will be moving out to Guild Association staff quarters. What? What is this all about? Is your pocket money not enough? Tell grandpa I will increase it. You don't have to work, for that we have these morons here, said William without caring for the feeling of the other family members. No, grandpa, it's not about money, it's something I have to do on my own. Please understand. I respect your decision, but I will be moving in with you. Don't worry, grandpa will pitch in for my part of rent and utilities. But grandpa. End of discussion. There is no way I will let my beautiful granddaughter live alone in this big city. If you move out of the house, then grandpa will move out with you. Both grandfather and granddaughter pair reached an agreement, while the rest of the family members thought, if you guys are just going to decide on everything by yourself, then why did you bother calling a family meeting? Chapter 25, Vehicle Item Card. Time 14:45. Eating the last monster leg, I looked at Susan, who was sulking for not eating fast enough. Remind me not to go out for barbecue with you again, you eat like a hunger ghost incarnation. I am doing you a favor, a lady should watch what she eats. What did you say to me? Ahem. Nothing, you know which card has high returns. I am thinking about mass producing these cards to make up for the rest of the money for the E-rank ingredients. Even though I made more than 6 million in this auction, it wasn't enough to pay for all the ingredients and copyrights for 50 E-rank cards. It is obvious, storage trunk and vehicle cards of mortal grade. These cards have a huge market as they are needed by both card apprentices and mortals. Storage trunk or vehicle, of the two storage trunk ingredients, were cheaper, all it needed was a working trunk and a mortal core. But it was harder to create than an E-rank card, as it is a type of card that can house items within it when it morphs into a card or a trunk. For the trunk to morph into a card with items in it, it should have all its soul pathway perfectly outlined with no cracks or leaks, otherwise it won't morph into a card housing different items. Due to its difficulties in card creation, this card cost more than the average E-rank card. For me, this card was a gold mine, thanks to my soul pupils. As for vehicle cards, they are mortal cards that morph cars into cards. It removes all the disadvantages of owning a car, parking. No need for parking as your car morphed into a card. This card cost depends on the car used as an ingredient for creating the card. And also because transferring soul pathways of something as huge as a car is very hectic and time consuming, the labor cost on this is very high, equal to creating an E-rank card even though it's a G-rank mortal grade card. It was obvious which card was perfect for me to mass produce: storage trunk. Storage trunk has various variety like suitcase, briefcase, handbags, school bags, vault, etc. But of course the most popular was the storage trunk, because if one has thick skin they can use the storage trunk as all the 5 mentioned above. So, I decided on the storage trunk card for mass production. Creating hundreds of G-rank mortal grade cards was nothing for my current mental strength. Okay, it settled, storage trunk cards. As for ingredients, let's use heavy-duty military grade trunks, not those cheap trunks. Okay, but how many sets of ingredients? Let's start with 100 sets. Cough, cough, 100 sets, tell me you are kidding. No, but where are we going to place these 100 trunks? You don't have to worry about that. As an associate auction manager, I have been allotted a warehouse for my use. I will have them deliver the trunks there. I am thinking about making a car card. Do you want one? No, I don't have enough money to own one right now. Okay, when you do, tell me, I will create one for you for free. Which car is popular right now? What kind of car are you looking for? SUV, sedan, hunchback, sports, luxury, muscle, truck, convertible, coupe, off-road, which is it? A muscle car. Send me the catalog, I will choose one. I will do you one better, let's go to Guild Association Garage. I have a friend there, she can hook us up. She is a little passionate about her work, so don't mind her when you meet her, okay? No worries. Location: Sky Blossom City, Adventure Guild Association Garage, waiting room. Hi Martha, Wyatt, meet Martha. Martha, this is Wyatt, my benefactor. Looking at the tall, muscular, handsome and hairy woman with the grease-stained uniform and hands in front of me, I was speechless. She is passionate about her work, I thought. Hi Susan, what brings you here? And who is this shorty? She looked at me as if looking at a love rival. Okay, listen up, you blasphemy of womankind. I am of normal height. It's not my fault that life is unfair to you. Glaring at the gorilla in front of me, I snapped. No man can tolerate being called shorty by a woman. Blasphemy of womankind. That's a new one, haha. It's decided, I will make your skinny at SS my B, TCH. Martha was enraged but also amused being called blasphemy of womankind. Now that's just creative. Martha moved to grab me. Without cards I was no match for her, but I could not bring myself to use cards on a mortal, so I backed up. Thankfully Susan came in front of me, shielding me from the big grease gorilla hands. "Martha, stop it, Wyatt is a friend." Martha didn't respond to Susan but stopped and taunted me, "Shorty. Aren't you a man? Hiding behind a woman's back and letting a woman fight your battle, have you no shame? Haha, at least I am man enough to get a woman to stand up for me, what about you? No man or woman will willingly stand up for you. Okay, that's it, you. Stop it, both of you." Susan thundered using the voice control card. My ears buzzed for almost 5 seconds. Looking at me and Martha covering our ears and still muddled, with a devilish smile, Susan said, "I love using this card, give me a reason to." Martha snorted at me and turned to Susan and said, "Congratulations on becoming an associate auction manager." "Thank you. Tonight dinner at my place. Just you and me, right?" "Sorry, I invited the whole gang for a celebration." "What about him?" asked Martha. Not waiting for Susan to answer, I said, "I am not invited." Seeing the smile forming on Martha's face, I added, "She already treated me to a luxury spa package and expensive breakfast." Martha's eyes widened and she looked at Susan for denial, only to be disappointed as Susan maintained a straight face and said, "We came here to buy a car." Hearing the word car, Martha forgot her disappointment and excitedly asked, "Is it for you?" "AAA. Not for me but him." "Sorry, we have a minimum height requirement for buying a car here," said Martha sarcastically. But I didn't care about her remarks as my eyes were glued to the hoverbike that just passed by the other side of the glass wall of the waiting room. "I want that," I said, pointing at the hoverbike. "In your dreams, they are our latest model and not yet out in the market. You could manage to get your hands on one of them if only you knew someone inside." "Cut the crap, tell me, what is it gonna cost me?" Martha looked at me with a vulgar look which almost made me vomit in disgust. So, I looked at Susan for her help, but she shrugged her shoulders in helplessness. "I will die but not be insulted," I shouted. Susan and Martha broke into laughter which lasted for few minutes before they finally stopped. "Martha already has a boyfriend." "What? Who is desperate enough to be with her?" "Hey, watch it. I am tolerating you because you are with Susan, don't test me." "Sorry." I apologized sincerely, as even gorillas have the right to love and be loved. "That one really, I thought you wanted a muscle car." "What happened?" asked Susan. "Muscle car, You men and your overcompensation," said Martha, scanning me from head to toe. I choose to ignore that remark and said, "That was before I saw that beauty, it's like love at first sight." Being an inventor in past life, some of my unrequited love was the hover car and a hover motorcycle. Theoretically, it was possible, but experimentally our technology was lacking. Now that I have finally got a chance to own a hover bike, I could not resist the temptation. "Hold your horses, lover boy. Remember I told you it's still not in the market." "Martha, we are not on the best of terms, but I want that motorcycle. Just help me this once, I will owe you one." "You are right, we are not on the best of terms, but seeing how you are Susan's friend, let me give it to you straight. What you just saw was a card ingredient for an E-class card recipe of our latest hover bike. That ingredient alone will cost you near $350,000, and if you add other ingredients and card creation, labor charges, etc., it will cost you near $12 million. Even if you can afford it, it will take a minimum of a week to get you the final card. That is if the card apprentice succeeds in his first try." "Wait, does that mean you can get me all the card ingredients and card recipe?" "Yes. Are you planning to get outside help for card creation? Then you have to pay for the copyright, but if you create the card yourself for your use, then the copyright is free." "We have to pay for copyright when using outside help because the guild wants the customer to choose the guild card apprentices over the freelance card apprentices, but it's okay if the customer himself is going to create the card." "I will be creating the card myself. How much?" If you go with the stock body, then it will cost you near $2,150,000 in total, but for the custom body it will cost you from $2,900,000 to $4,000,000. I will go with the stock body. Does it come in black? Stock black? You choose wisely. But you sure you want to take chance with card creation? After all, you are spending a buttload of money. Don't worry, Martha or Wyatt is a genius when it comes to card creation, bragged Susan. If you say so. Martha didn't seem to believe Susan's words. Chapter 26, the 20th. Time 15:45. Location Sky Blossom City, Wyatt residence. Placing an order for the hoverbike at Guild Association garage. Thanks to Martha, I bid my goodbye to Susan and Martha and headed home. Creating 50 F-rank cards had me completely drained and running on fumes. If not for cheering Susan and discussing the mass production phase of my plan with her, I wouldn't bother spending another second awake rather than resting. All I wanted to do now was to have a good refreshing sleep, but it seems the 5 people blocking my house front door had different plans. As I reached my home, I saw 5 people blocking, no more like guarding my house front door. 2 people among them seemed familiar. They were the tall and short duo from last time who came to remind me of the money I owe them. If I remember correctly, I did ask them to come on the 20th, and that is today. Aren't they punctual? As I neared my house, I could feel the hostile gaze of the 5 goons. The tall and short duo hurried towards me shouting, "Where have you been, you dumbass? You know how long we were waiting for you." The other 3 goons still stood laid back as if waiting to watch a show. I didn't answer the goons but looked at them blankly. "You deaf? Didn't you hear him ask you a question, twerp? Or are you just too scared to answer? Ha ha ha. Look at his face, drained of expression with fright. Cousin blame me for having a fierce face. Calm down, kid, nothing will happen as long you got our money. You do have our money, right? You better have it, otherwise. Enough. Cousin, he will faint if you scare him any more. Listen up, kid, we came yesterday evening to inform you about the other procedures my second cousin had to go through and the increase in compensation. But you were out. Hearing that they came yesterday too, I shook my head in understanding as I took $1,250,000 from Bentley. No wonder they came yesterday. Running a loan shark, scam, and extortion seemed to be an easy enough and high-yielding business. First, you scam the person, then lend the person money with unbelievably high interest rate, and later you extort the money you lent to that person. This way you haven't spent a penny and people still owe you a huge sum of money with enormous interest rates. It seems I chose the wrong direction for my money-earning plan. Here's the bill, kid. $500,000 for bone alignment surgery. $670,000 for second bone alignment surgery. $234,000 for rehabilitation and treatment. $121,000 for the private therapist. $293,000 for the drugs. $150,000 hospital charges. That brings us to a total of $1,968,000. Check not accepted, only wire transfer, said the short goon, once again waved a sheet of paper in front of me and quickly pocketed it. He couldn't be more obvious. Maybe he thought I would not dare to ask to see the bill. All young Wyatt did was bump into this dude, and a group of people surrounded him and started to intimidate and extort him. These people couldn't be more shameless, asking $1,968,000 just for a bump. But I was not young Wyatt. I grabbed the hand of the short goon before he could pocket the sheet of paper and asked, "Mind if I take a look?" The shorty tried to lessen my grip, but it was late. I took the paper. It read a recipe on how to make good chicken fajitas. WTF, can you guys be a little professional? I thought, looking at the goons in front of me, and then said, "This doesn't look like a medical bill." The goons fidgeted. The short one hurriedly shouted, "Wrong paper, it's my wife's secret recipe. It seems the medical bill is in my house." Good save, buddy, I thought, and just gave him a blank look. This only angered the goon and he started shouting, pointing at me, "How dare you? You should be thankful that we are not asking for more compensation other than the hospital bill. Your wings seem to have hardened seeing my good side, Fouquet boy. Now you have done it? Add another million to the bill for emotional compensation." It's amusing to see how the goon's face turned redder and redder with every word he spouted out. Feeling that I was not threatened by him, the goon came closer to me with his face right in front of mine. He intently glared into my eyes, trying to intimidate me. But I didn't back down and glared right back at him. It somehow turned into some kind of weird stare contest. Feeling belittled, the goon grew more aggressive and pushed me, but to his surprise, I didn't budge an inch and a silver light shone on my skin. Seeing this silver light, the goons beside me were scared shitless. Even the 3 laid-back goons near my front door were dumbfounded. "Did you just attack me, BTCH? I guess you leave me no choice but to defend myself." The 2 goons did not waste their breath and ran back to the 3 goons at the back. The 3 goons at the back were more alerted than these 2, as they directly summoned their bronze grimoire according to their training at Zhang Mercenary. Seeing the 3 goons at back summon grimoires, I understood why the 2 goons ran back to them. Interesting, I thought, cause not many people know I am a silver card apprentice. There is no way Banley would know that I was a silver card apprentice to send 3 card apprentices. Either Banley should be a very cautious person, or he somehow got the information of me contracting a silver grimoire. It didn't matter either way, it's about time I made them cough up what they owe young Wyatt. Time 7:45. After waiting till midnight at Wyatt's house yesterday, Robert Wong wasn't done. He returned to Wyatt's house in the morning, but only to find that goons from Last Light were also back with an extra card apprentice and continued to block the Wyatt residence. Having his share of experience in society, Teacher Wong knew that these goons were either from loan sharks or a bunch of scamsters. Either way, he comes out as the hero in front of Wyatt. That's what matters here. So, Teacher Wong chose to hide in the corner. This way, when Wyatt returns and is in trouble, he can walk in and act as the hero, doing the most adult thing, calling the cops. The scenario was set, and all he had to do was wait patiently like the hunter waiting for the prey to walk into the trap. Applying for a leave, Teacher Wong waited patiently, and his patience bore fruit as Wyatt showed up at last at 15:45. Seeing the way things were headed, Wong thought that the twerp Wyatt had not changed much, as he just let the goons walk all over him like that. It's better this way, as the more pathetic Wyatt was, the easier it was for him to be the hero in front of Wyatt. Seeing that the things between the goons and Wyatt were getting heated, Wong directly called the cops before deciding to make an entrance. But to his surprise, as he was about to go out to make an entrance, with an intimidating aura, Wyatt moved at high speed towards the goons. Seeing that timing was not right yet, Wong crawled back to his corner. To gain the most goodwill, the hero has to make an entry when things get most desperate. While Wong was fantasizing about his heroic entry, Wyatt was going to have his first card fight in this world. Chapter 27, Card Fight. Time 15:49. No wonder your wings have hardened, kid. Looks like you have contracted a silver grimoire. Aren't you a lucky one? Did you think just because you are a card apprentice now you could back down from compensating? Well, you thought wrong. So what if you are a silver card apprentice? We have 3 bronze card apprentices. Don't make it hard on yourself, just pay your dues and we will leave like this never happened. The goon seemed to be chatty now that he had 3 card apprentices to rely on. Looking at the 3 card apprentices in front of me, I did feel a little intimidated. After all, 3-on-1 for my first fight was a lot. And it seems like the other side did not mind bullying me with their numbers. I was not afraid, but my mind whispered you cannot withstand the storm, whereas my heart whispered you are the storm. Things have come to the point where I had to fight now. It did not matter who started it, but now I cannot back down an inch. I did not know how I am going to win, but I did know that I am not going to lose. I was not afraid of being outnumbered, only I thought 3 were not enough to completely showcase the power of the abyssal giant bear. As they were busy making threats, I summoned my silver grimoire, activated the sprint skill of Gale Rabbit Leather Boots. With the boost in my agility, I dashed into the 3 card apprentices. Within a second I was in front of the nearest card apprentice. He was still in shock as my fist covered in the aura shaped like a bear's paw slammed into him, but it was blocked by a bronze shield. Regardless, the shield was not strong enough and shattered like glass. Under the residual force from the punch, the card apprentice flew back, slamming into the wall, spurting out blood before losing consciousness. But I did not stop there, as I could feel a hot projectile heading my way, so I jumped to the right, nearing the second card apprentice, avoiding the basketball-sized fireball. But to my surprise, the card seemed to have already prepared for my arrival. As I was still in the air, he looked at me with a sneer and fired another fireball at me. It was point blank and I couldn't dodge it as I was in the air, so I activated the second ability of Gale Rabbit Leather Boots Double Jump. Stepping on the air, I jumped back, evading the fireball. Landing on the ground, I saw the two card apprentices surround me from both sides. Thinking that they have cornered me, the goons felt like they gained an upper hand, became chatty. "Not bad, kid, for a newbie. You are quick on your feet and brave enough to initiate a fight. Right? I thought you would give up being outnumbered, but you didn't. You got balls, kid." They were not wrong to be cocky, as I was almost out of all my cards, but I only had 2 cards to begin with, so they had nothing to be proud of. "So kid, did you give up yet, or you ready for round 2? I didn't bother to answer the goon and let out an angry roar, activating the Abyssal Roar skill. Even though the goons acted all arrogant and mighty, they were still novice card apprentices at the card student level. So the roar worked effectively, stunning the 2 goons and buying me 2 to 3 seconds. Which was enough for me to take out one of them. I dashed to the goon in front of me and barraged him with continuous bear fists. Each fist contained the complete strength of an abyssal giant bear. I could hear sounds of bones cracking as I ruthlessly punched the goon. Done with him, I rushed towards the third one. He seemed to be out of stun and fired a fireball at me, but this time I did not dodge the fireball, I took it head on. Fireball is an F-rank skill card. It does pack huge damage, but compared to the defense of an E-rank boss-level abyssal giant bear, this damage was nothing. I chose to dodge earlier because there were 2 enemies and didn't want to take any chances. But now my worries were redundant and wanted to check the defense of the abyssal giant bear. Other than feeling a small burn as the fireball slammed into me, I felt nothing. Seeing this, the goon was scared shitless and backed a few steps before tripping himself and falling on his behind, while I ended his misery with a punch to his chin, rendering him unconscious with a broken jaw. I won, but I was not satisfied with the victory, as these goons were just novice card students with starter cards. Other than the fireball and the bronze shield skill cards, I did not see them use other cards. Even though they had outnumbered me, I seemed to have overpowered them in the quality of cards. They were not worthy opponents for my E-rank abyssal giant bear spirit guard card. I looked around to be sure. Everyone was unconscious or disabled. Even the tall and short goon duo seemed to be unconscious thanks to the abyssal roar. Being mortals, they fainted under the influence of the abyssal roar. I walked to the one who was disabled. He seemed to have peed under the pain of breaking bones, while his face was covered in tears and snot. I neared him. He crawled back in fright. I had broken an arm and leg of his. Unable to walk or support himself, he could only crawl. "Stop it, or else I will have to break another arm of yours." Hearing me, the goon stopped crawling and begged me to let him go, with tears and snot dripping from his face. I was disgusted to see his snot and tear-covered face, but I still squatted in front of him and said, "Don't be afraid, I will not hurt you as long you answer truthfully to my questions. Nod if you understand what I am saying." The goon nodded vigorously. Looking at him, being sincere, I asked, "Now tell me, who sent you? Why did they send you? What is your purpose? So basically tell me everything you know, got it?" The goon hesitated, so I twisted his broken leg. Crying in pain, the goon let go the lasts of his resistance and was about to spill out everything, but "Bweep bip bip bweep. This is Sky Blossom PD, sir, please step away from the injured civilian." Hearing the cop, I frowned. Who the fuck called the cops? I had decided to call the cops once I had enough evidence to build a case against Banley and Zhang mercenary. I stepped away from the goon but got irritated seeing the revealed expression on his face. Soon the two cops in blue uniforms, after requesting an ambulance and backup, came to check on the injured. "Sir, who did this to you?" asked a cop to the disabled goon. The goon didn't answer the cop and dodged his eyes. According to the teachings in John Mercenary, in situations like this, he had to keep quiet and ask for the company lawyer. Seeing the goon keeping quiet, I answered the cop, "I did it." "What?" The cops were dumbfounded, and one of them asked the goon for confirmation, to which the goon reluctantly agreed. Getting confirmation from the goon, the cops handcuffed me, reading my rights. Ironically enough, neither of them heard my explanation. I had to go in quietly, not wanting to be charged with resisting arrest. Time 15:54. Class teacher Wang has been a bronze card apprentice for 2 decades and already stepped into card scholar. He was not sure if he could guarantee to knock out 3 novices card students under 3 minutes. Wang was shocked to see Wyatt wipe the floor with the 3 goons. To his amusement, he noticed that each of the goons was equipped with 2 F-rank skill cards. One should know Fireball alone costs $14,999 and the Bronze Shield costs $16,799. Which mercenary group is rich and prodigal enough to equip each of its novices with nearly $32,000 worth of cards? Had he known this back in the days, he would have been a mercenary rather than a teacher. In some way, Wang envied the goons. He remembers working 2 years as a trainee teacher to save up for his first skill card. Wang envied Wyatt even more for having good parents who not only left him silver grimoires but also good combat cards for use. Chapter 28, Auntie Denise. Time 16:30. Location: Sky Blossom City, Police Department, 89th Precinct. Sitting in the empty investigation room, I was amusing myself by fiddling with the handcuffs on my wrists, more like I was trying to fiddle but to no end. I wanted to sleep, but the cuffs were intriguing. There was something about the handcuffs that seemed to cut off my connection with my grimoire. Even though I have only contracted the grimoire for like 2 days, I felt like a part of me was missing, being unable to sense the grimoire. I was trying to figure out what made the handcuffs special enough to block my connection with the grimoire. Was it because it was made of a special substance, or it was something else different? Since my connection with the grimoire was cut off, I could not use my soul pupils to check the working of the handcuffs. While I was busy trying to figure out the working of the handcuffs, the door of the investigation room slammed open and a lady dressed in blue in her 50s walked in. Throwing the file in her hands on the table, she sat in the chair in front of me. Seeing her, I said, "Took you long enough. I had been locked in the room for 15 minutes and no one addressed me till now." "Watch your tone, Wyatt. I am the chief of the police department, 89th Precinct now, not your aunt," said the policewoman. Come to think of it, she does look a little bit familiar. If I am not wrong, the only time I know young Wyatt had seen her was during his parents' funeral. She is the nice aunt who stayed with young Wyatt for a whole day after the funeral and also brought the tasty shawarma. She claimed to be Mama Wyatt's friend. What was her name again? Auntie Denise. Young Wyatt didn't know that she was chief of police. I wanted to check on you again but never got time to. Sky Blossom is a busy city after all. You did not get the time? If you cared, you would have made the time. I thought, remembering how young Wyatt died miserably all alone, not finding anyone to depend on. I was enraged, coming out of nowhere and acting as if you got me all figured out. No lady, you don't get to do that. Can I go now? I think you should have investigated everything by now. No, you are not going anywhere, and yes, we did investigate and the other party is pressing criminal charges on you. For the charges: attempt to murder, assault and assault against mortals. Okay, I see the neighborhood cameras were not clear enough. I have some evidence here on me and I would be pressing criminal charges too on all 5 of them for the charges of attempt to murder, assault, fraud, extortion, blackmail, harassment. And I would like a bottle of water. I don't drink tap water. Grimoire had functions similar to a smartphone, for example, internet connectivity, a mobile browser, the ability to sync all the card apprentice accounts and ID to itself, embedded memory, camera, etc. Using the video recording function of the grimoire, I had recorded the events that transpired in front of Wyatt residence. What have you been through, Wyatt? You have completely changed. You're no longer the boy I knew once. Yes, losing both of your parents at a young age does that to a person. Now if you are done, I would like these cuffs off of me. The police chief sighed and said, "You are free to go, your class teacher already provided us with appropriate evidence." As she removed the cuffs off me, I said I would like to file criminal charges against those 5 goons. About that, I don't recommend you doing that. Zhang mercenary are a group of bloodthirsty dogs who wouldn't think twice before biting others. Don't worry about them targeting you again. I will send the leader a warning, that should do. Pressing criminal charges will only aggravate them. You are a young card apprentice with too much to lose fighting them. Just focus on your studies and college entrance exam. I have already lost too much to them to care about losing anything else. You are alive, aren't you? This is not everything, let the past be past and move on. Zhang Mercenary Group Ltd. is not someone you should be messing with. Will you file my complaint or should I hire a lawyer? The police chief let out an exhausted sigh and said, "You young people all are hot-blooded. Okay, I will fill the complaint. Let's have coffee together sometime. I have quit drinking coffee and I have nothing to say to you. Lady, you can't just walk in and try to act as if you care all of the sudden. I was out for blood and would not stop until I saw them bleed dry." Kevin Zhang was just an ordinary card soldier with a silver grimoire. With enough money, I would suppress him in no time. Walking out of the police station, I saw someone I never expected to see, class teacher Robert Wang. I shouldn't be surprised to see him after all. Denise did say that the evidence was provided by my class teacher. But I did not think he had the nerve to stick around. With a smile showing all his 32 teeth and an oily bald head, he greeted me saying, "Student Wyatt, you all right? They weren't rough on you, were they?" I talked to them and cleared all the misunderstandings. Wang did not want to wait for Wyatt after seeing his prowess against 3 novice card students, but remembering the words of Principal Johnson about him finding a new job if he could not bring Wyatt to school, he gritted his teeth and waited for Wyatt. "Now I know who called the cops." Pissed, I asked him, "Did you call the cops?" Wang hurriedly waved his hands in the air and said, "No need to thank me, Student Wyatt. I was just doing my job as a good citizen and teacher. Why would I need to thank you? You got me into jail in the first place. Now scram your face is annoying me." This last sentence was what Teacher Wang used to say to young Wyatt. At least I was more lenient as there were no students present as an audience. Wang's oily head started to sweat hearing Wyatt's tone. He no longer thought of Wyatt as a mere student whom he could push around. Knowing his tricks won't work here, he decided to not talk much but just ask if Wyatt would be attending the school. "Student Wyatt, I will take my leave. And will you be attending school in future? The special classes for the new card students are about to start soon." "Special classes for card students, what's that about?" "I do not have an idea. Every year teachers of card soldier level are invited to teach the card student class to prepare for the college entrance exam. The special classes are about to start, so I wanted to know if you will attending the school." "I will now scram." Getting his answer, Wang skedaddled. "Fuke, I am really tired." Hailing a cab, I went home for a good rest. Time 16:45. Traying a ring. Traying a ring. "Hello, uncle. I was just thinking about you. You should be, after all you only remember me when in trouble. One job. You can't even handle a weak little kid. What good are you? You dumbass." "It's not like that, uncle. I did not expect him to contract a silver grimoire." "And what about him single-handedly defeating 3 of our members? They were trainee cadets, they were no match for a silver grimoire holder." "You fool. So what if they are trainee? In the eyes of people, they were part of the Zhang mercenary. I leave just for few weeks and you are ruining all my years of hard work." "Don't worry, uncle, I will fix it soon." "No, Keep this mark on hold till I come back. He seems to have friends in high places. The police chief of the 89th precinct just called to warn me to stay away from the kid. But I heard that the kid is pressing criminal charges on our people. 3 of them are recruits who show a promising attitude. Leave it alone till I return. Do you understand me? I understand, uncle. How's recruitment going on? The funds I gave you should be enough, right? The recruitment is moving faster than expected. Good. Good. Don't disappoint me again. Tuesday. Tutu. Chapter 29, Limitations. Date March 21, 2321. Time 1:02. Location Sky Blossom City, Wyatt Residence. Having slept at 18:44 in the evening, I got up early after midnight. Since I skipped dinner, I was feeling hungry. Ordering a 12-inch sausage and mushroom crust deep dish pizza online, I went to take a dump, brush my teeth and freshen up. By the time I was done, the pizza was at my doorsteps. After enjoying the pizza and filling me to the brim, I let out a satisfying burp. It was 2 in the morning and I did not know what to do. Go to the Guild Mall to create more cards? No. Then what to do? I started to think about my first card fight. Even though I won, I thought I could have performed better than that. My Abyssal Giant Bear Spirit Guard card was unmatched under D rank, yet it took all of me to defeat 3 goons. What was it? That is it, I wasn't skilled enough to use the card to its full potential. Skill cards are like loaded guns, a 5-year-old or monkey can fire them. It takes an excellent marksman to use the loaded gun and accurately shoot the target across the field. Similarly, any card apprentice can activate a skill card, but it takes a card apprentice skilled in that particular skill card to use the card to the maximum of its potential. The same goes for me and my Abyssal Giant Bear card. Yesterday was the first time I used the card. I had never performed or practiced Abyssal Bear form before that. Yes, the card gave me elite level proficiency in Abyssal Giant Bear form and the complete prowess of an Abyssal Giant Bear, but I wasn't sure how to apply it to get maximum efficiency. With the agility of Gale Rabbit Boots and the strength of an Abyssal Giant Bear, I should have been able to take out the 3 goons within seconds, but I didn't. This is the reason why card apprentices do not change their card deck unless it is necessary. Thinking about it, I went into the gym in the basement. It was mostly used by Mama and Papa Wyatt for their training. They never let young Wyatt inside. The basement gym is way cooler than my expectations of it. It is vast and filled with numerous training equipment I never knew of. Even though intrigued, I stayed focused on why I was here. It was to practice the Abyssal Giant Bear form and get used to its strength. To truly know my limit and how I can use it to my advantage. I practiced the whole morning, forgetting about the time. The more I practiced, the more I felt this unstoppable feeling. There was this ginormous energy inside me that boiled with every move I made. Over time I felt like a pressure cooker with enormous energy boiling inside of me and about to burst out any moment now. Then this pressure slowly started to suppress as I became more comfortable with practicing the Abyssal Bear form. It started to feel normal to contain that vast amount of energy inside of my body. The Abyssal Giant Bear card effect read that I passively possessed the prowess of an Abyssal Gain Bear, yet I never felt a huge amount of change in my strength like I felt now. It seems martial arts cards have their limits too. They cannot be used to their maximum potential if the host body cannot bear their complete strength. No wonder not everyone chose martial arts skill cards, as they are expensive and have a lot of requirements. Realizing the limitations of the martial arts skill card, I sighed in understanding. It seems there is no way to skip the hard work part in this or any other world. Done with the training, I went for a bath, as it was time for school. I wasn't planning on visiting school anytime soon, but the special class for the college entrance exam mentioned by Teacher Wang had me intrigued. I knew to get the most and best opportunities, one had to get into the best college. That was only possible if I was among the best in the college entrance exam. Even though my sole pupil helped me create cards, it was nothing if not for young Wyatt's knowledge of card creation. My card creation knowledge was limited to young Wyatt's card creation knowledge, which was limited to what he learned from his parents in his childhood. I could only create equipment cards with 99% surety because of my past history in engineering. As for the skill card Abyssal Giant Bear Spirit Guard, I created it using already created cards as ingredients, so it was a lot easier than creating a skill card from scratch. There are different types of cards out there and each has its method of creation and knowledge behind it. Some types of cards and card creation methods are only known and available to the secret and royal families. Soul pupils were of no use if I did not know how to create the cards in the first place. Therefore, joining a good college was a must for my future development of strength. A good college would provide me with knowledge and opportunities one cannot get out here. My experience of past life stopped me from being ignorant and thinking I could make it on my own using my cheat soul pupils. Time 8:30. Location Sky Blossom City, Lion Cubs High School. The school gates were closed, as the school started at 8 and I was late by half an hour. Activating the double jump skill, I jumped over to the other side of the gate, not wanting to bother the school guards. Following the memories of young Wyatt, I made my way to the classroom. The class had already started and I could see the oiled shiny bald class teacher Wang take out his frustration and anger on the students. I walked in without knocking or permission, as Baldy Wang had lost all my respect as a teacher. Baldy Wang was so immersed in reprimanding the students that he did not notice me till I walked to my seat. Seeing me, his voice went into high pitch, almost sounding like a cat getting run over by a truck. The students burst into laughter but soon started whispering about my bold action of entering the class late without permission and how Baldy Wang would react. "Student Wyatt, you came today. Please follow me to the principal's office. The principal is waiting for you, and rest off, you continue with self-studies." Wang was caught off guard with my sudden arrival but managed to divert the class's attention by calling me to the principal's office. The students started to whisper again about how Baldy Wang had enough of me and would be expelling me today. I did not mind seeing the principal, as I wanted more info on special classes for card student and if they are worth my time. Since the regular teacher of Baldy Wang's level could not give me more info on this, I can only ask the principal. "Sir, Teacher Wang has brought student Wyatt to meet you. Send them in quickly." Walking into the luxurious room, I had a hard time believing that it was the principal's office, as it looked more like a corporate CEO's office. "Welcome, student Wyatt." Chapter 30, Vandals. Location Sky Blossom City, Lion Cubs High School, Principal's Office. "Welcome student Wyatt, congratulations on contracting a silver grimoire." Being welcomed by the principal himself, I seem to have underestimated the prestige of silver grimoire. "Thank you, principal. I thought there was no time for an orphan in this school. I better start looking into other options." Hearing my words, the bald head of Teacher Wang started sweating profusely. The principal glared at him and said, "Teacher Wang, why don't you go on that vacation you have been asking for?" Wang knew the principal was getting rid of him politely. Which class teacher goes on a vacation with the final exams nearing? But he would not go down without a fight. "Sir, vacation can wait. The finals are fast approaching, the students need me here." "Oh. You don't have to worry about that. The new intern, what's her name?" Kate, Kathy, she will fill in your shoes." "Isn't it a bit too much responsibility for an intern?" "Sir. She has a double degree and one of those fancy PhD. I think she should be able to handle the responsibility." "Teacher Wang, are you telling me how to do my job?" "No. Sir. I was just looking out for my class." "Thank you for the vacation. I will be taking my leave, sir." Watching Wang leave hurriedly, I felt satisfied. I did not care what was going to happen to him, because I think he deserves it all. After Wang left the office, Andrea Johnson became serious and said, "Student Wyatt, Lion Cub High School is among the top 3 high schools in Sky Blossom City. There are not a lot of options for you out there. How about continuing in Lion Cub High? Guess I don't have much of an option, I can only continue studying here. I don't understand principal, why me? I mean, even though contracting a silver grimoire is rare, I bet there must be 1 to 2 other students who contracted silver grimoire. I see you are not clouded by ignorance and pride of contracting a silver grimoire. This makes it easier for me. The other students with silver grimoire belong to prominent families and they will not register for college through our school but under their family name. As for you, you are an orphan with no background, you have no other option than to register through high school. The special treatment because I want the high school you used to register to be our Lion Cub High. Doing this will give me a promotion and increase government findings and attract more donations for the school. As for you, although I cannot offer you much, I will make sure to make you the top priority of the special class. What do you think? I accept. What is this special class all about? The principal did not bother hiding his intentions, so I did not hesitate to accept his offer. Good, special class is for all the card students of senior year. A group of card soldier teachers will be guiding and teaching the class about card fight and card creation. And even escort the class to clear G rank and F rank field dungeons. This is to prepare students for real combat, which is an important test subject in the college entrance exam. Just field dungeons. Kid, don't push it. Do you know how much it costs to book a complete field dungeon for a day? Even though most of it is government funded, we still have to settle 30% of the total cost, and these low-level dungeons are more than enough for you rookie card students. It seems I will be attending the school more often. When will the special classes start? Within a week I will inform you. Okay, then I will take my leave. Attend the class, maybe you will like your new class teacher. Sure, I will give it a try. Leaving the principal's office, I went to the class. As I entered the classroom, the babbling classroom quietened. Nearing my seat, I knew why. My desk was thrashed and vandalized. The whole class acted as if they didn't see anything and acted as if they were busy with their work. But I could hear their chuckles. This incident was not new to young Wyatt, it would happen twice or thrice every week of his orphan life. With no one to watch out for him, he could only endure it. I wasn't young Wyatt or helpless. Walking up to the boy enjoying this prank the most, I said, "Get out, I will be taking this seat." Hearing me, the chuckles quietened and the whole class looked at me as if I was a fool. Jason Saget, the class's top bully and delinquent. He treated young Wyatt as his slave and ATM. I did not care who vandalized my desk. I was happy I got a chance to mess up this twerp. What was that twerp? Did you lose your screws or what? As Jason said that, a bronze light shone over his body. Don't make me repeat myself. I said as a silver light shone on my body. You. Before Jason could spout any more nonsense, I made a fist and slammed it hard on Jason's nose. My fist hurt, but seeing the blood flowing from Jason's nose, the pain went numb. Taking advantage of his muddled state, I grabbed hold of his hair. Pulling his head down, I slammed my knee into his face. Jason's nose broke completely and blood poured out like crazy. And then I tore him off of his chair by his hair and threw him on the floor. Jason fainted under the pain while blood filled his nose and mouth, making it harder for him to breathe. The whole class's mind went blank seeing my brutality towards Jason. But they were more shocked to see the silver light that shone on me. They finally realized that the rumor about Wyatt contracting a silver grimoire was true. Giving the class a few seconds to soak in the shock, I sat down on Jason's seat. Then, looking around the class with the abyssal bear aura oozing out of me, I shouted, "Stand up, you XX! You vandals have lost the right to be seated." The muddled students did not know what to do other than standing up under the pressure of the intimidating aura. Seeing them all stand in their places, I nodded in satisfaction. But there are always few people who push their luck. The class leader looked at me, said, "Classmate Wyatt, isn't this going too far?" Seeing her, other people started to form an opinion but did not voice out due to fear. But some were courageous enough to ask me, "Isn't this too much, Wyatt? Don't get arrogant just because you contracted your parents' silver grimoire." Putting aside the class leader, the two who spoke just now were average students who were not special enough to stand out in any crowd. Yet they were courageous enough to bring up young Wyatt's parents. Was it because they felt strength in numbers? Nah. Looking at their eyes, I understood what fueled their courage. It was jealousy. They were jealous of young Wyatt having silver rank card apprentice parents to leave him silver grimoires. They thought, if Wyatt can contract a silver grimoire, then how hard can it be to break the limit and contract a silver grimoire? They envied Wyatt for having a silver grimoire to contract with, and thought if they had a silver grimoire they would also contract it with ease. This envy and jealousy fueled their foolishness to bring up young Wyatt's dead parents in front of me. I got up from the seat and walked to them. I could see them tremble under abyssal bear aura as I neared them. "What do you want to do?" they asked, while the rest of the class watched, just like when young Wyatt was bullied. Standing in front of the two, I balled both of my hands into fists and slammed each one into their throats. If not for me holding back, I would have crushed their windpipes. Both of them fell to their knees, holding their throats and gasping for breath. The rest of the class gasped in fright and stood quietly, swallowing all their opinions. I looked at the class leader and said, "It's your lucky day. I am in no mood to hurt a girl today." Then I retired to Jason's seat and sat comfortably. The whole class was quiet except for the sound of the two idiots gasping and coughing vigorously and the sound of Jason choking on his own blood. Feeling annoyed by the sound, I instructed 3 boys to send these morons to the school infirmary. Young Wyatt's remnant wanted justice, but it's hard to get justice for a dead person who is still alive in the eyes of the world, so I went with vengeance instead. It was fun and easier. I could have chosen to be morally better than these delinquents, but why should I choose to be better and understanding than them? It's too tiring. Who cares about moral high ground when you can have fun wrestling in the mud? It was already 15 minutes and yet no teacher showed up. Losing my patience, I decided to go to the association mall to manufacture more cards. Before walking out of the class, I warned the class, "You will take all lessons standing today. If you dare to sit, I will know." How? Because there is a snitch among you guys. There is always a snitch. Chapter 31, Bright Lions. Time 9:25. Descending the stairs of school, I remembered that a bunch of delinquents liked to spend their time behind the school gym smoking, eating tobacco while doing weird and stupid stuff. That bunch could be considered Jason's acquaintance. These guys milked young Wyatt like a cow for money. With no parents or guardians and being of legal adult age, young Wyatt had full control over his finances, and he had a lot of it, enough for a mortal family to live carefree for their lifetime. Having no other way, and since no one is stopping him, Wyatt spent money to save his ass from being bullied, and it was more of a short-term solution than a long-term one. But young Wyatt did not consider one thing, that he seemed to be just fueling their greed. These delinquents just got greedier and did not care where the money came from as long as they got it. And when young Wyatt lost all his money in a scam, the situation took the worst possible turn. Not getting their daily money, the bullying just turned into assault and violence. These fuckers started leaving burn marks on young Wyatt's covered part of the body with tobacco butts and used him as a combat dummy to try their stupid stunts. Young Wyatt ended up in the school infirmary in the past few weeks more than in his entire life. Since the healer used healing cards which were enough to treat flesh wounds without checking the patient, they never knew what Wyatt had been through. Because of this, there was no evidence of the delinquent's cruel act left, and they got fresh flesh to canvas on again. These past few weeks were the most painful, humiliating, mind-numbing experience of young Wyatt's life. Yet he still went to school because that was the only way he could get into a good college and fulfill his parents' dream of him being ranked in the Card Apprentice Championship. But every mind has a breaking point, which young Wyatt had crossed 4 days ago, leading to him attempting suicide. The more I went through these memories, the more enraged I was, as I realized that Wyatt may be a nerd when it comes to cards and grimoires, but he was a sunny, good-hearted boy who did not deserve this. I finally thought justice was not enough, vengeance had to be achieved. These morons don't get to just walk away with it. Some would argue they were just children and did not know better. To them, I had only this to say: go XX yourself. Changing my route, I headed to the school gym, but to my disappointment, nobody was there. It's at this moment I question myself, what am I doing? Who am I to judge these delinquents? It's one thing to punish those that came seeking trouble, but to find trouble myself, I am no less of a monster than them. I think I have taken this whole vengeance thing personally. It didn't seem like vengeance anymore, it was like I was the strong one was bullying the weak. What's up with me? I almost crushed 2 students' windpipes just because they voiced their opinion. They had not wronged young Wyatt in any way, yet why was I cruel to them? I did not understand where my hatred and anger stemmed from. But it had to go. I wasn't being myself, to think I would actively be seeking out people to hurt. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret breaking Jason's nose or even punching students in their throats. I just don't want to be a person who is headstrong and impulsive, trying to punch his way out of every problem he faces. Disgusted with what I was doing? Who I had become? I decided to bottle all my feelings and walk it off. I had to stop letting my rage direct me and start acting my mental age. I guess that today is the delinquent's lucky day, but fate seemed to have different plans. As I was thinking about leaving, 4 students with messy hair and shabby dress walked by. Hey, look who's here. It's our cash cow, Wyatt. Did you finally change your mind and decided to stop resisting? Sharing is good. Say buddy, could you lend us some money? We are bored eating in the school canteen, it would be good to have lunch outside for a change. Yes. Yes. Let's go to Uncle Cheng's, he makes the best barbecue and cheap. Hearing these **ts, there was a tremor in my soul. It originated from the remnant fear of young Wyatt. Even though young Wyatt's soul passed away, his remnant resentment, hate, fear, rage etc. was left behind in this body for me. No wonder my emotions overpowered my judgment. The 4 delinquents surrounded me as they tried to extrude money from me. In a rage, I balled my hands into fists and shouted, "You beggars ain't getting a shit from me." With that, I summoned my grimoire and went total berserk on them. To my surprise, all 4 of them had advanced to card students and officially became card apprentices. But they were a bit lacking in the skill/item card department. After all 4 of them had a humble background and their families' pockets were nearly empty, sending them to a good private high school. With no prior training and useless cards, these 4 were worse than the 3 goons from Jong Mercenary. Within a few seconds, they all kneeled on the ground trembling in fear with bruises all over their body. "Wyatt, we are part of Bright Lions," one of the goons shouted as if it was supposed to mean something to me. Bright Lions? Never heard of it? This school comes under Bright Lions territory, as of yesterday. And we are part of Bright Lions, they will avenge us. I was running out of patience, and these clowns kept spouting nonsense. Bright Lions that? Bright Lion this? So I punched the loudest one in the face. Learning the lesson, they went quiet. Don't waste my time, answer when asked. I looked at the stout one and asked, who are these Bright Lions? Some kind of local gang or mercenaries? No, Bright Lions are a student gang consisting of almost all the card apprentices in our Lion Cub High, led by the Bright family's Bright Brothers trio. Within a day they united all of us card apprentices and established this gang yesterday, claiming Lion Cub High as Bright Lion gang territory. Turns out all this build up for a bunch of students playing a gangster. How many people are there in this gang? As of now 22, including the Bright Brothers trio. Pretty soon many will join us. How many card apprentices are there in senior year? 157 registered. As for the rest yet to register, we don't know. Wow, you guys are weak in math. 22 is no way near 157, your parents should be proud. You got cigarettes on you? Yes. Yes. All 4 of them took out a pack of cigarettes hurriedly. Okay, take one each and throw the remaining ones here. The delinquents each took one and threw the rest of the pack at my foot. Now sit in a circle with your back facing each other. Under the intimidating aura of Abyssal Bear, they did as I asked them to. Remove your shirts, light the smoke and show me your best masterpiece yet on your friend's back. You guys should be pro in this since you had enough practice on me. Failure to do so, I will start breaking your limbs one by one. Don't make me repeat myself. Soon painful moans started to sound from behind the gym building. Chapter 32, Summoning Cards. Time 9:41. Location Sky Blossom City, Lion Cub High School, School Gym. Scram. You better pray that we don't meet again, next time I will tag your flesh myself. The four delinquents picked up their shirts and ran hastily. These morons were so scared that despite their pain they did not dare to show mercy to their friends. Watching their charred backs, I felt satisfied and disappointed at the same time. Satisfied, yeah, for reasons known, but disappointed because I did not get to show my work. I thought these morons will cut some slack to their friends and then I will break a few of their bones and show my creativity. But who knew these CU*TS did not show sympathy to each other, instead scorched each other in spite. Maybe next time. To think I got all worked up over these 2-bit delinquents, they aren't worth my time or anger. I kinda blamed young Wyatt for not having worthy foes. I was brimming with this energy ever since I had practiced the abyssal bear form. I know that it is a bit childish of me, but there is only one word to describe the way I am feeling right now: invincible. Now I kinda get why the bad guys portrayed in all those comics and cartoons like to destroy stuff. That's because they could. As I neared the school gate, suddenly a bunch of students, no wannabe delinquents, surrounded me. A bunch would be an understatement, nearly 24 should be more accurate. Does the school have no policies for hairstyle and dress code? Look at them, each one of them was eligible to be hired as a clown. No, they all reminded me of the pimps from the 90s crime shows back in my world. They surrounded me and kept staring at me. For some reason they were grunting and spitting on the ground time and again. Among these students, I saw the 4 delinquents that had just left. It seems that these rats have gathered their brethren. No matter how many rats there are, it still doesn't change the fact that they are rats. It's you guys. Yes, it's us. Now face the wrath of our bright lions, Buster call. With that, all the delinquents started shouting and chanting, bright lions, bright lions. Then a trio of handsome men with tall stature and blonde hair walked out of the group and said, "This guy beat you? Are you sure?" Third leader, don't underestimate him, he is Wyatt, the one rumored to have contracted a silver grimoire. We saw him use it. The 3 people looked at me from head to toe and the slender one of them said, "Boy, it's your lucky day. As you have defeated the members of our Bright Lion group, you have only 2 choices, either join our group or beg for forgiveness on your knees." I did not bother to answer him, just sneered at the slender blondie. Surprisingly, the slender blondie did not get angry. Instead, he smiled and said, "What is it gonna be?" "I am gonna mess you guys up," I said, cracking my knuckles. The slender blondie laughed hard and soon others followed him. "Well boys, looks like we got a feisty one." One of the bulk delinquents eyed me and said, "Boss me. Give me a chance, I will have him purring within a minute." Hearing the delinquent, the crowd broke out in laughter again. The slender blondie seemed to be satisfied with his crony's response and said to me, "Wyatt, why don't you save us the trouble and just get on your knees and beg for forgiveness? Then maybe I will consider giving you a second chance." "Make me. You dipshit." Slender blondie shook his head and with a sigh, he said, "I gave you a chance but you did not cherish it. Okay boys, he is all yours, give him a good time." Hearing him, the bulky delinquent from earlier summoned his grimoire and a reddish bronze light shone over his body. He seems to have activated some kind of F-rank body enhancement card. He's mine, saying that he charged at me with high speed, wanting to subdue me with brute force. Other delinquents' eyes shone with amazement seeing the bulky figure covered in reddish bronze light charging forward and whispered how fast his movements were. His movements may be fast for these wannabe gangsters, but in my eyes, he was slow as hell. F-rank enhancement was nothing compared to the full strength of an E-rank abyssal giant bear. Seeing that he intended to tackle me, taking full advantage of his huge body, I did not dodge. I could, but I chose not to. As he was about to slam into me, I punched him with 40% of my strength, breaking his advance and sending him flying into the crowd. The babbling crowd went silent and the sound of slender blondie clapping sounded. With his eyes narrowed he said, "It seems you are indeed worthy of our bright lion's buster call, boys get him." With that remaining 18 of the delinquents summoned their grimoire and bombarded me with all their long-range attack. I did not delay and summoned my grimoire, and a golden aura shaped in the form of an abyssal giant bear covered my body, protecting me from all the attacks. I was scratch-free and barely took any damage, as F-rank attacks couldn't break the aura surrounding me. Thanks to their heavy firing, dust covered the entire field and blocked everyone's eyesight. I opened my soul pupil and jumped into the crowd, taking them out one by one. This was the first time I was using soul pupils in a fight, and I made a huge discovery. Soul pathways outline the boundaries of all the living or non-living forms known, giving shape to them. It's true in the case of humans too. The soul pathways seem to get stronger with an increase in the active soul control. It can be concluded that the higher the active soul control, the stronger the soul pathways, giving the host incredible strength and unbreakable defense. No wonder, as the active soul control increased, the card apprentice seemed to grow stronger and more powerful. In physical prowess, there is a huge gap in each level of card apprentice. In terms of pure physical prowess, a card soldier can easily overpower 10 card scholars just like that. This was the basic 101 of card apprenticeship. What I discovered was closely related to it. With help of soul pupils, I could see the soul pathways, and with enough concentration, I could see where these soul pathways were weak and where they were strong. It was as if I could see the weak spots of all forms, including the card apprentice. Thanks to this, with enough skills and little power, I could land critical damage on these morons with my every hit. As the dust was about to settle, about 11 of them had already been rendered unconscious. Just when I was getting cocky, a figure made up of bones crawled out of the earth and pounced upon me. In desperation, I activated sprint and fled the attack range of the bone figure. The dust settled, and before I could get a clear look at the bone figure that attacked me, it crawled back into the earth again. I could barely catch a glimpse of its tail. The tail was weird, it had a telson and a stinger. Alarms went off in my mind. Someone among these delinquents has a summon card. An undead summons card, no less. These undead summonses are like intelligent puppets with no fear, feelings, or pain, but just absolute loyalty to execute their master's orders. Which MF is rich enough to own such a card? Chapter 33, Rookie Card Fight Tournament. Time 9:49. Location: Sky Blossom City, Lion Cub High School. Summon cards. The name says it all, you get to summon a familiar to fight for you. These types of cards are rare and expensive for obvious reasons. There are different types of summoning cards, and the Undead Summons card is a rarer type of summoning card. It summons an undead creature to fight for you. Undead creatures are very tricky to deal with, as they do not fear pain and death. Worst of all, they do not stop until they are completely immobilized or their core is destroyed, making undead creatures perfect for combat. Right now I am facing an undead creature that can hide in the ground, an assassin type undead. Even though this card is E rank at best, it must be worth millions and hard to find even in Guild Association Mall. There is no way this undead belongs to one of these delinquents. So, I look around to find the Bright Brothers trio. Of the three, the slender blondie had summoned the bronze grimoire and was being guarded by a skeleton hound. To be able to summon two undead creatures at the same time at card student level means that the star ratings of both the undead summon cards is low, meaning these cards are created by a professional card creator skilled in making undead cards. These two cards must have cost a fortune. These prominent families seem to be rich to be able to equip their children with such expensive cards. The only difference between these delinquents and the Bright Brothers trio is their background, proving my theory that one can buy strength with enough money. Now my worry was not the undead creature underground, but the remaining two Bright Brothers and their cards. The most exciting thing about the card fight than the card fight itself is the mystery of the opponent's cards. There are a nearly infinite number of skill/item cards out there, not to mention the unique origin cards. Cards are the most crucial part of the card fight. One can't be prepared for all kinds of cards out there. Thankfully not everyone can afford or create all kinds of cards out there. I wasn't worried about the undead in the ground cause I was able to see its soul pathways as it moved around in the ground using soul pupils. Since I could see it I can be prepared for it. But I still could not figure out what kind of undead creature it was. Is it a snake or a lizard or an earthworm maybe? The delinquents did not seem surprised by the sudden visit of the undead. As it may be the reason they joined the Bright Lion gang in the first place. People won't follow you without enough power to show for, even if you are from a prominent family. Since the dust was cleared the delinquents could seeing most of their comrades unconscious on the ground and me being unscathed covered in the golden aura in the form of an abyssal bear, they had lost their will to fight. If not for the undead creature showing up they would have fled the scene. Since the delinquents had lost the will to fight it was easier for me to render them unconscious. Watching out for the undead underground I began taking down other delinquents one by one, even though they could see now my movement was too fast for them to react. Thank you sprint. I would knowingly leave an opening for a sneak attack but the undead creature never took the bait, taking down the last of the delinquents. Finally only I and the Bright brothers were left standing. Looking at the slender blondie I asked, "Why didn't you attack?" "I don't need an ambush to defeat you. The sneak attack earlier was me letting you know how easy it is for me to put an end to your life. So, what now? You had enough or shall we continue? You do have a good card there, a pinnacle E rank card proficient in close combat. But it is not enough." As the slender blondie spoke I could see the undead in the ground slowly circling me ready to attack any time. Then the hound guarding the slender blondie dashed towards me. It seems the blondie wants to keep me engaged with the skeleton hound while the undead underground sneaks up on me. It was a reasonable plan if I could not see the undead in the ground, can't blame a guy for trying. The skeleton hound was an F-rank undead creature, not much of a threat to me even if I was lying down. I pretended to be focused on the hound so that the creature underground would surface, and it did. Right when the hound pounced on me with its mouth wide open trying to bite me, a skeleton tail with telson and stinger crawled out of the ground at my back and sting at me. In response, I turned sideways with one of my hands going right through the hound's open mouth reaching for its core and the other hand grabbed hold of the tail trying to sting me. Freeing my hand by crushing the core of the hound, I pulled on the tail using both my hands to drag out the undead creature in the ground. The undead creature turned out to be a skeletal scorpion. As I was about to crush the skeleton scorpion to bone powder, I could hear slender blondie shouting "Don't." I could understand his distress. The only drawback to a summoning card is that every time the summoned creature is killed the card's durability rating drops. Meaning that if the summoned creature is killed enough times it is possible to kill it permanently. Not heeding his pleas I directly crushed the skeleton scorpion's core, afraid that the other Bright brothers would interfere. I wanted to crush all its bones to powder but I could not take the chance of letting it escape. As I expected the bulky blondie dashed towards me with high speed to save the undead creature. Luckily I was cautious and directly destroyed the core before the bulky blondie closed on me. Looking at him I said, "Ops, my hand slipped." But to my surprise, seeing me destroy the core the bulky blondie stopped in his advance and returned next to the glasses blondie who seems to be the leader of the three. The distressed slender blondie did not create a scene over his summon being killed, instead looked at me intently and said, "Hope we meet in the rookie card fight tournament. I will kill you there." I could see he meant every word he spoke thanks to the killing intent oozing out of him. But I was confused seeing them leave in a cool manner as if they did not lose in the first place. "Hey, you dipshits, who let you go?" Hearing me the trio stopped in their advance and turned to me while the glasses and bulky blondie both summoned a silver grimoire each. The glasses blondie frowned and said, "Don't push it." Seeing them summon 2 silver grimoires I was stumped. I did not know what kind of cards they had, but considering their background their cards should not be worse than the undead summon cards of slender blondie. If these two decide to gang up on me then for sure I will be at a disadvantage. Finally, I felt what it is like to be in a real card fight. but for some reason, they were not willing to fight. Since I had enough for today, I asked, "What is this rookie card fight tournament you speak of?" They did not answer me but turned and left. But the slender blondie did not seem to be convinced, so he said, "The principal will announce it soon." Boy, you are lucky. If not for them not wanting to reveal their cards before the tournament, you would not be walking home today. Saying that, he hurriedly followed his brothers. Fighting a bunch of weaklings, I had become complacent. Seeing how the bright brothers are hiding their cards, it's clear that there are many strong card apprentices in the school. Hearing the slender blondie, this tournament should be important and many strong card apprentices should be looking forward to it. Not getting a satisfactory answer, I headed to the principal's office for more info. But before that, I found the 4 delinquents from earlier among the unconscious delinquents lying on the ground. I placed their naked unconscious body on top of each other and left in the direction of the principal's office. Rookie card fight tournament. Looks like the school is more fun than I anticipated. It seems I will have to stock up on some good skill/item cards soon. Chapter 34, Aura Site. Location: Sky Blossom City, Lion Cub High School, Principal's Office. "Sir, Student Wyatt is here to see you." "Send him in." Every time I step into this office, I am amazed by its lavish decor. Isn't teaching supposed to be the most miserable and low-paying job? I guess private schools are a different story. Seeing me enter, the principal got off his chair and welcomed me in. I really cannot get used to how fake he is. Which principal stands up to welcome a student in his office? None. After meeting the Bright Brothers trio, I knew that Silver Grimoire is not that big of a deal in the upper circle of Sky Blossom City. It's rare but not worth this much fuss. "Student Wyatt, did you like your replacement homeroom teacher?" "I haven't met the new replacement teacher yet. I came here for another reason." "What is the rookie card fight tournament?" "Where did you hear that? I was about to announce it at tomorrow's school assembly." The Bright Brother trio told me about that. They seem to take this tournament seriously. They should, since the top 10 will be rewarded handsomely, especially the top 5. They stand to gain more. "What are the rewards?" "You should not worry about the rewards, as you are still too weak to even enter the top 20. "What? FYI, I just defeated one of the Bright trio along with another 20 card apprentices." "Oh. That I did see it. Your performance was indeed remarkable for someone who awakened 4 days ago. But not enough. Why do you think someone arrogant like Bright Trio chose to hide their card rather than beat your weak ass?" "What is that supposed to mean?" "You knew about the fight yet you did not stop it? What are you getting paid for?" "Wait. Does it matter as long as I am not punished for the school fights?" "Look kid, let me give it to you straight. The 2 from Bright Trio are way out of the league for someone of your prowess. Just like you, both of them inherited their ancestors' grimoire and also gained their ancestors' origin cards. Don't think you are the only one to inherit your mom's grimoire and origin card." Hearing the principal, my mind thundered and my brain was in complete turmoil. Till now I thought soul pupils were my cheat of a transmigrator, but turn out I was wrong. "Mom's origin card?" I asked, covering my shock with a clueless expression. "No need to pretend kid, I saw you use your mother's aura site origin card in the fight earlier. Otherwise, how could you predict the position from where the skeleton will attack, or how were you able to see when the bust blocked everyone's sight, or how could you accurately find the cores of the undead summons?" "Wait. Aura site? Thank God, my heart almost jumped out of my mouth. So he knows nothing about soul pupils. To think Mama Wyatt's origin card was also a mutated eye ability. Coincidence, or? I did gain the origin card when I contracted my mom's grimoire, but I did not know it was my mom's card. Yes, I did gain an origin card when I contracted Mama Wyatt's grimoire and did not know the origin was related to her. But he does not need to know which origin card I had." "Wait, you don't know your own mom's origin card?" "My parents chose to keep their work life and private life separate. Apart from teaching me about cards and card creation, they never bothered to talk about work in front of me, and I never bothered to ask." Mama and Papa Wyatt never mentioned their work to young Wyatt. I can understand, since no parent in their right mind would want to share the gruesome battle stories of survival with their young child. Okay, when you contract an ancestral grimoire, you also inherit your ancestor's origin card. But origin cards are supposed to be unique cards to that individual card apprentice, so the inherited origin card slot becomes locked until you find a fated ingredient and fuse it with the inherited origin card to make it unique to the individual card apprentice again. But in some special cases, like your case, student Wyatt, when the individual card apprentice is very similar to the ancestor, then the inherited origin card does not get locked. This is very rare, almost near impossible, therefore not many people know about it. Hearing this, I got more confused because I belonged to neither the special nor the normal case. My origin card formed directly when I contracted the grimoire. The only hypothesis I could come up with was that I belonged to the normal case, and my fated ingredient was the remnants of young Wyatt's soul, that is, Auracite mutated to soul pupils fusing with the remnants of young Wyatt's soul. Nothing else came to my mind that sounded sane to explain my awakening of soul pupils' origin card. Since it was out of my understanding, I stopped worrying about it and inquired about why was here in the first place. How strong are the two silver graders of the Bright Trio? Officially I don't know. But since I had promised to give you priority, L will provide you info off the record. Do you know the prominent Bright family of today was a nobody 56 years ago in the Sky Blossom City, and if not for the infamous War Golem twins, they could not reach today's heights and have 3 known golden card apprentices. The twin brothers of the Bright family were titled War Golem twins because of their bravery during Monster Tide and their unique golem origin cards. 56 years ago, during a Monster Tide attack on Sky Blossom City, the twins of the Bright family defended the south gate of the city all alone until the reinforcement arrived, thanks to their unique golem origin cards. Golem cards are item cards, but if the golems are sentient, then they become familiars and fall under the summoning card category. Golems have immense strength, durability, and are unstoppable until their core is destroyed, similar to the undead creatures. But golem origin cards of the Bright twins were almost immortal. Contrary to other cards, origin cards are part of the card apprentice, so the Bright twins were able to hide the golem core within them, making their golems almost unstoppable, making it possible for them to hold off the Monster Tide from attacking the city till the reinforcements arrived. These War Golem twin brothers are the grandfathers of the 2 silver graders of the Bright Trio, from whom they inherited their silver grimoire. So, if I am not wrong, they both should be able to summon unstoppable war machines, each to fight for them. Now, do you think you are their match? Chapter 35, The Circle. So, if I am not wrong, they both should be able to summon unstoppable war machines to fight for them. Now, do you think you are their match? I have yet to see a golem, but from young Wyatt's memories I gather they are similar to big robots. Instead of wires, hardware, and software, they have soul core, soul pathways, and some sentient ones have beast will. The abyssal giant bear spirit guard is strong, but not strong enough to take on a huge robot of sorts. I could attack the Bright brothers, who are the cores of their golems, but they should already be prepared for that. Being hit by reality hard, the invincible feeling I got from practicing the abyssal giant bear form finally subsided. Now that I was in my right mind, I finally knew wealth and power is never enough. There is always someone richer and stronger than you. How foolish of me! With my current rate of progress, I will never be able to take on Kevin Jong and his mercenary group within a year. Looks like I cannot be lazy anymore. Until now I had just focused on making money, but I will have to start thinking about gathering good card ingredients, skill/item cards, and try to learn how to create different types of cards, especially golem cards, as they are closer to my expertise back on Earth, robotics. Seeing me in deep thought, Andre shook his head. He seemed to think my confidence was hit hard and I was doubting myself, so trying to encourage me, he said, "Kid, your mother's origin card Auracite is not to be underestimated. Even though it does not have the raw strength and destructive power of a golem, it is a great card, and many high-ranking card apprentices would choose Auracite as the origin card over a golem." What's so special about Auracite? When I activate it, all I can see is the auras of all objects and beings. If they are far away the auras overlap and it's hard to distinguish between two auras. Every form of matter has a distinctive aura to it, but it is invisible to the naked eye, somewhat similar to soul pathways. I truthfully told the drawbacks of soul pupils withholding the crucial information I found until now on the origin card, not because I did not want to lie to Andrea or I trusted him, but due to his title, the judge. He got this title, not for punishing criminals or something, but due to his origin card, which tells him if someone is lying to him. Very powerful, right? But this card has obvious limitations, like how I withheld crucial information and misled him into thinking that my origin card was aura sight. Another limitation is that he can't judge someone with higher active soul control than him. But it is still something worth being feared for. Therefore, someone with such a useful card is stuck as a mere high school principal with no future. It is rumored that the upper circle of the city is very uneasy and wary about Andre's origin card and his humble background, therefore they are suppressing all his merits and confining him to Lion Cub High. This guy is dangerous. I came here to get info on the tournament, but somehow the conversation switched about me and my origin card. For some reason conversation with him feels like an interrogation. Looks like I should maintain a healthy distance from him. And why does he know so much about Mama Wyatt's origin card? I will have to look into Mama and Papa Wyatt's life history for this. But whom am I supposed to ask for info about Mama and Papa Wyatt's life history? Supposedly they are my parents and I should be the one with the most info on them. Oh, that's because you have not had enough practice and experience to get used to using the aura sight efficiently like your normal sight. Your mother could spot monsters hiding hundreds of meters inside the ground easily. If you asked her to find a needle in the haystack, she could in seconds. Do you know what makes the aura sight crucial and sought after? Yes, indeed, soul pupils have numerous applications, but I lack the practice and experience to wield it to its full potential and discover all its uses. What? It has the ability to discern truth from illusion. Think about it, with the aura sight you can easily be able to tell the difference between illusion and reality. Most importantly, nothing can hide from your eyes. Normal stealth and invisibility is useless against it. The aura sight card has various possibilities to explore, just practice it hard enough and you will get the hang of it. Thanks to this origin card, your mother was labeled nemesis of assassin and illusion type. This card has more to offer than you think. Yes, I can use soul pupils to easily discern an illusion from reality. Why did I not think of it? My experience with soul pupils is lacking to come up with all the ways I can use it, but with enough time I will be able to think of its various applications. Seeing how Andre is singing praises of Mama Wyatt, I guess she was a big deal in Sky Blossom City, but to think her son committed suicide because of the people she fought to protect, how tragic. Be this world or other world, hero's life is always miserable and tragic. Back on Earth, soldiers died to protect their country, but the country could not protect their loved ones. While the corrupt officials and politicians enjoyed long life bathed in black money. When will the tournament be held? You still hung up on that? I guess it could help broaden your horizons. It will be held on the 27th of this month. Thank you, then I'll take my leave. Happy to help. Try attending the classes, they may be helpful. Receiving a wake-up call, I could not dilly-dally anymore, time to get serious. In this tournament, I had to be in the top 5 no matter what. After Wyatt left the office, Andre summoned his silver grimoire and called Kevin John. Traying a ring. Traying a ring. Andre, it's rare of you to call me, what's the matter? Kevin, I called to talk about the boy. What about him? You must have heard of him contracting his mother's grimoire. I did hear him contracting one of his parents' grimoire, so what of it? Get to the point. Cancel all your plans involving the boy, he is under the city's protection now. What? Are you kidding me? Didn't I already clear it with you and the circle? You want more, that's it, right? And people call me the thug. The situation has changed. The boy is no longer a nobody since he has inherited his mother's origin card. You know what that means, right? But that's not possible. He is one of the special cases. Kevin, I know your temper, so I will warn you again, don't do something you will end up regretting later. That boy is off limits. This matter is related to the circle, so no mistakes will be tolerated. Tutu. Fouquet. Kevin cursed in anger. He invested so much, yet he had nothing to show for. Fouquet them. Fouquet the circle. Looks like he will have to return to the Sky Blossom City and deal with things himself. Part 2 of the series ends here. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like and subscribe so we can be motivated to make even better videos in the future.